The market that we are in, the paid market that we are in, is the market of business meetings and events. That's the industry we're in. The last report I saw, and it's 2 or 3 years old now, so I need to get the latest one, it was worth $1.6 trillion. So when somebody says they're speakers and they're not making any money, I say, well, what are you doing? Because they're not doing anything, right? Because there's so many events out there. There's so many business, so many opportunities absolutely everywhere. People just don't know how to see it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You're listening to the Public Speaking Podcast.
The podcast where real humans talk about communication, presentations, meetings,
And what happens when you stand on stages around the world.
the good stuff,
And the awkward stuff.
and the stuff nobody teaches you.
All right, let's jump into today's episode. Welcome back to yet another episode of the Public Speaking Podcast. I'm Lucas, CEO of Headgain, an amateur speaker, and with me in the studio, my dear friend, the guy that escapes the cold country of Sweden when it comes to autumn and winter, the guy that is full of profanity in private, but all full with bleep in the podcast, my dear friend, the greatest coach on the planet when it comes to public speaking, Mr. Alexander Grabner.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Well, Lucas, you make it sound worse than it is. Like a guy who uses a bunch of profanities outside of the studio and inside. I don't think yet we have had one single profanity that has been announced on one of the podcasts. And if you're a listener, please prove me wrong. Anyway, my name is Alexander. I work as a communication, and this is where I'm going to be very careful, but I'm a guide. And I was allowed by today's guest, by using this hashtag, she will probably trademark that and then send me an invoice. But anyway, today we have a guest. And in regards to what I do, I help people just like you. If you ever have a dream about standing on a stage and becoming a public speaker, I help you navigate how to become good in the delivery part of this. But the guest today, she's the one that really puts the I was going to say the M in money, but I would say the P in public speaking. And when we were recommended by another guest to reach out. And when we had the first meeting and she says something about coaching, we'll dive into that later, but it just made every single time when I either write an email or whatever I do, normally I went with / Coach Alex. But since I met her, I find different names every single time. Anyway, with that said, I want to welcome to the studio no other and no less than Maria Franzoni.
Do I have to sing? Do I have to sing Public Speaking Podcast?
Yes, we do all these things. So we're a little bit of goofballs here. So if you like to sing, it's fine. We encourage people to sing on the podcast, but still nobody has dared except Lucas because, well, he sings in a choir. Anyway, before we go into, Maria, what is it that you do, how you define yourself, and who do you help? We want to give the listener and the viewers something that we call
10 Tough Thoughts with Alex.
And Lucas doing nothing in this segment. That means that what happens now is that I'm going to give you 10 tough thoughts. It's just going to be either this one or the other one. So it's going to be a multiple choice question with just two different choices to choose from whatever you feel the most leaning into. Do you understand what's awaiting you?
Is this like a psychometric test?
That's very advanced.
Not
word.
disclosed at this moment.
No, we're just going to run through this. It's not going to be hard. We're always keeping all the data, and then we're, making people into different categories. No, just kidding. All right. This is now 10 Tough Thoughts with Maria Franzoni. All right. Are you ready?
I'm scared.
Perfect. Fast food or fine dining?
Oh, fine dining.
Water or wine?
Wine.
Swimming or walking?
Walking.
Stay at home or travel?
Stay at home.
Oh, car or motorcycle?
Car.
Off-grid or city?
Off-grid.
Red or blue?
Red.
Online or face-to-face?
Online.
Bed or sofa?
Bed.
Final question, summer or winter?
Oh, God, spring.
Let's add another one. This has been another
10 Tough Thoughts
with Alex and Lucas do nothing in this segment. Well, thank you so, Maria. Thank you so much, Maria. for giving us a couple of off grid and home. That's nice. And then spring. Why spring?
Well, it's the summer. So I live in the UK, and winter can be really horrible, and summer can be really. I mean, this year's been crazy, right? Spring is a little bit more predictable. So spring or autumn, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think they're a bit more stable. So yeah, and I find also in the summer I have the worst hay fever, Alex. I don't know if you guys suffer from hay fever. I say only the most intelligent people on the planet suffer from hay fever. So obviously you do. And summer here is really bad for me. So yeah, that's spring.
All right. Well, I was extremely fascinated and very intrigued with your profession. And I think everybody who's listening in and watching this episode as well is kind of keen on Kage. So Maria Franzoni, what do you do and who do you help?
So what do I do as little as possible? No, I'm kidding. No, what do I do? So I spent 23 years working in bureaus. So I was an agent. I was the booker. So now I teach speakers what I learned from that side of it, the commercial aspect of getting booked and paid to speak. So that's what I do. And I you know the word coach. I don't really coach. I nag people. I know you guide people today. You're guiding. That's your new word. But I tend to nag people. I tell them what to do. I've not tried. I don't want to say that I'm a coach because there are so many great coaches out there who've trained to be coaches and know how to coach. I haven't done that. So I give people a to-do list or walk them through them, hold their hand and help them to do it. So it's that's what I do. And my objective is really I want to get rid of that word public speaking. I know your podcast is called public speaking. I want it to be professional speaking. I want it to be or paid speaking. I'd like it to be paid speaking or professional speaking rather than public speaking, because public speaking a lot of the time is not paid. And that for me hurts.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it kind of resonates with what I normally go. Like with public speaking is, if you're in an audience, doesn't matter if it's your friends or family or dinner table, whatever, it's publicly speaking your thoughts and your and ideas, right? So I love where you're saying it paid. It's a paid speaker. It's like go out there, you get money, you share your thoughts and get money in return. Very fascinating. How on earth did you find this profession? Like, how did you lead your way into this?
Oh my God, it was an accident, complete and utter accident. I don't know about you guys, but for me, it was a total accident. So I had a few careers in the past. I did not start as a babe in arms in this, I wasn't a child when I started in this industry. I'd had a few careers. I'd been a management consultant. I'd been a general manager. I'd been in marketing. I'd been in retail management. So I had sales, marketing, and business background. And I was looking for something new. And I saw this very cryptic advertisement. In those days, they used to advertise in newspapers. And I saw this advert in a newspaper which said, can you negotiate at a senior level without being phased? And I thought, well, I've sat opposite the CEO of huge, Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies when I was a management consultant and told them their company was rubbish and this was what was going wrong. So I thought, I can do this. I can talk to senior people. I'm not phased. I didn't know what it was. And it was commission only. But I'm a salesperson at heart, really, and I know that I can sell. And so I thought, well, I'll go and investigate it, because the opportunity, if you're good, the money return was really interesting. The money seems to be a theme here, right? It's energy for me. Money's energy. If you've got it, you can share it, right? That's the thing. And so I went to this interview and I discovered the senior people were former heads of state, first man on the moon, people who have done incredible things. And then on the other side of the coin, again, CEOs, C-suite, top executives, heads of department, negotiating between the two of them to get a contract and an agreement. And I thought, wow, this sounds fascinating. And this was my first job in a speaker bureau with CSA, Speakers Bureau. I had the best possible trainer in the form of the founder, Alex Krywald, who saw something in me and thought that I would be successful and set huge targets for me. And I thought they were normal. So I thought, I can't beat the target, right? And once you're in this industry, it's really weird. And only people in this industry understand it. And everybody else thinks you're just strange. You're addicted because it's addictive, because the people are fantastic. They're the best. They really are. You're nodding. People can't hear that on a podcast, Alex.
No. I'm just fascinated because it is the really the experts industry. like where people are having a very specific point of view or a story that you've never heard about. Is it that thing that you mean, or?
It's actually how supportive everybody is of everybody else. I've not experienced that in any other industry. I found even if speakers are competing with each other and bureaus are competing with each other, everybody is actually supportive. And that was shown even more in COVID, when I remember all of the bureaus getting on WhatsApp calls and Zoom calls, all sort of supporting each other in different areas. But, when I go to a speaker event, everybody's and say, "Oh, let me introduce you to so and so, and let me how can I help you?" The attitude is, "How can I help you?" Which reminds me, I suppose, of some of the service industries. But I don't know. It seems to be more here than I've ever seen it before.
Oh, that's lovely. So what was you spent 20 years inside speaking bureaus.
Sounds like prison. You were going to say prison, weren't you? There.
Well, it depends on how you define it and how it felt for you going out and becoming something on your own. But I mean, 20 years. Was it one bureau? Was it several? What happened?
It was 23. Let's because those extra 3 years were important. So I spent the first 3 years or so with celebrity speakers, and then I was more or less poached. Really, I was headhunted by London Speaker Bureau, and I helped. They had one office at the time, and I helped them grow to 25 offices using my background in management consulting and sort of setting up systems and processes. So I helped them do that. And then I got to about 2005, and I was getting itchy feet because it got bigger and bigger. The bureau got bigger and bigger, and I wanted to innovate and change other things in the bureau. And once it had got so big, when you're directing a small boat, it's easy.
Yep.
This had become a tanker, and it was a global tanker, and different cultures and different languages. And I wanted to be agile. So I spoke to the founders and I said, "Look, I want to go out on my own." And they said, "We don't want you to go out on your own."
No.
And so I had a really interesting setup in that I set up my own bureau in 2007. They allowed me to be what they called an elder of the London Speaker Bureau. So I was able to go to the meetings and advise, have access to all of their database. And I was still training and contributing and letting them know, this is what I'm seeing, this is what we're doing. I'm sharing. So I became like a sort of an innovation hub, if you like, within, which I don't think anybody's ever done before. It hasn't happened since. I was the only one. So although I had my own bureau, I was still very much affiliated and associated with them. So I had their global network and database, which was hugely valuable to me. But they also had this little person innovating and doing weird things. And I set up all sorts of ideas that they adopted and they still use today, which is wonderful.
Wow. Cool. Okay. So, all right. So, background here, you've done a lot for speakers. You've done a lot in the speaking industry for several years, and then you moved into doing something on your own. You became your own. What do you say? Your agent and helping people get booked. What do you do now exactly?
So I nag. I told you, Lucas, I nag. So
A nagger.
yeah. So the question you asked me was, in person or online. I do both, but I tend to do mostly online because I like the Zoom meetings because we can record everything, we can go fast, we can focus, I can share different things. I find if you're in person, it takes an awful lot longer. So I do like the one-to-one work with people where they're at. And I like to move people very fast because I want people to be making money as quickly as possible. The stagecraft, the piece that you guys do, takes a lot longer, a lot of repetition, a lot of rehearsal, but you can sell it before you've finished it, right? When it comes to speech, because you've always got a lead time before you've got to get on stage.
Yep.
Then you panic, come to you guys and say, right, I've got 3 months to get this right. Let's just hone it. Yeah. So for me, it's that cash flow piece is really important so that you can stay in this industry. There's so many speakers that come in enthusiastic and then fail.
Yep.
Because really, these are businesses. Every speaker is a little business, and a lot of businesses, when they start, fail. The majority of them fail, and I want to help them succeed. So that's what I do. Most of it's on Zoom. I do get invited to speak. I do get paid to speak as well. Not every time. Sometimes I will go just for expenses because it's marketing, right?
Sometimes
so I
you
do
public speaking, and sometimes you do professional speaking.
Yeah, it's still professional because I still get business on the back of it.
Oh, yeah, well,
You see,
yeah,
so
okay,
yeah, so
okay,
it's still
okay,
professional.
okay.
Yeah, okay. But yes, marketing. It's marketing. This is marketing, right?
Yes,
So
100%.
yeah, so that's what I do. And I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn as well, and which I enjoy, by the way. And I get a lot of business from there, which is really interesting. And I wrote a book last year, which was really painful. And then I audio recorded it this year, which is even more painful. So yeah, there you go. That's me.
Yeah.
There was something that stuck into my head here. You said the majority of public speakers that comes in, they fail. ¿Por qué? Why? Why is it? Because I know, again, I know who comes in and who's asking for the help from our side, but why is it? Because you're on the other end of that thing. Why do they fail? Like why is it like 1 out of, I don't know what the data will say, but I will just pull in like 1 of 10 has a higher success rate. The other 9 are either going like, oh, I'm just gonna and then.
Yeah, I don't know what the numbers are. It'd be really interesting if somebody did do a study of it. And many failed over COVID because they gave up. And I think partly there's a couple of things. It depends what your business model is. You know, if your speaking is part of another part of the business, you're more likely to succeed because you're adding it on, and it might be, I hate the word funnel, but it might become part of the funnel, a paid part of the funnel. Those who are going in and they start and it's just speaking and they're starting from zero, more often than not, the reason they fail is the foundations aren't set properly. Either they are coming in with the wrong topic because they're passionate about it and they haven't checked that anyone's going to pay them for it, and there's a market there, right? Or they're coming in and they are not realizing how much it takes to actually get started. Once you've got momentum, once you're out there and you're delivering a great speech, the more you speak, it actually becomes much easier. But to get those first stages is really hard, and people, I think, underestimate that effort that it takes, and they don't want to do it. They think, I'll set myself up and somebody else will sell me. No, they won't.
Then I have one question, a follow-up one. When I started out doing this, it seems like a decade ago. It was a decade, a little bit more a decade. There was one who came up to me and said, Alex, you will never be famous. You will never succeed unless you have a book. My question to you, Maria, is that a wrongful truth? Or is it because the people out there is probably going to be like, the only way for me to be succeeding in this is if I have a book out there?
Oh, it's a load of rubbish. So the problem is that most people, when they're told that, will write the book and they'll write the wrong book. And they'll write the book too early before. And I did that. I wrote the wrong book, but not for that reason, because I wasn't doing it for speaking. I was doing it because I wanted to get my thoughts out there and my IP out. But I wrote the wrong book, and I knew I had. I wrote my book in 2020 because I had a bit of time on my hands. And I didn't publish it because I knew it was the wrong book. And very fortunately, a publisher who approached me asked me, and I sent it to him, and he said it's the wrong book, and I then wrote the right book. So one is the wrong book. The book, at the end of the day, is a very expensive brochure, unless you are one of these New York Times bestsellers, which again, are very few people get to that point. You don't need a book. And the majority of speakers who I have worked with who are hugely successful haven't got a book. One of the speakers that I worked with the most wrote a terrible book and doesn't tell anybody about it and doesn't sell it because he wrote the wrong book. So no, you don't. There are certain markets that love a book. The US market loves a book, but it has to be a really good book. There's too many bad books out there. So you'd better off waiting and writing a really good book, right? Or not writing it at all.
See, this is what I love with you. Getting to slowly, following up on your LinkedIn posts and reading what it is that you're creating. It's the provocation that you're putting out there, because that is the total counter opposite what I was told back in the day.
Did you write the book?
No, I never wrote a book. I started writing a book. You know how far I came? Front page, the book by Alexander Grabner Jarlung. That's how far I have reached in my book. But I agree to everything that you say, due to now, after 13 years, I might have a good idea in my head with all the things that have been going on for the last decade plus. So I so love when you're saying that, like, no, it's mostly, it's either a very bad book written by, too early, and it's rubbish. And the successful people that you work with don't even have a book. That is, and I think a lot of a lot of listeners that are considering becoming a paid speaker are saying, okay, well, that's nice. Then I don't have the pressure of writing a book as well.
It takes a lot of time, but I actually possibly, do you know what I would do if I were you, Alex? You've got the book where it says the book by Alex. Put blank pages in and sell it. I think you'd make a lot of money.
Just
as a notebook.
I'm writing this down. Just so you know, I'm writing down business idea. Just a blank book, nothing. Book. Just a book. You fill it by yourself. Ta-da!
But it's true. People actually sell that. It's yeah.
Yeah, no, you're See, I once in a while, and this is sometimes like when before we started the recording, you intimidate me, but in a good way, because I get on my toes. No, you don't have to make the face. Now she's making a face for the ones who can't listen. But I find some people over the years that has this effect on me, and these are normally the people that I look up towards and really say, like, whatever you have in your head, it's so extremely valuable that I want to transition that in one way or another in my own head for the things that you can give away for free, like in this podcast, because it's a marketing place. Your own words, just everybody who's listening, she said that. No, so I'm very happy to hear this. But my question is, how does this business model for you, I mean, you're creating business models for other people, how to become paid speakers, but on your own end, what is it that you do? Is it that you're bringing on like hordes of people, 15, big keynotes, 5,000 people, and you give like, these are the top 5 things that you won't need to do to be a paid speaker? Or how does your business model look when it comes to being that person the nagger?
As I said, I like to work one-to-one best. And from time to time, I'll do group events because my colleague who I work with, she likes to do the group stuff in person. So every now and then she twists my arm and we do it. And sometimes we do group stuff online. But I like one-to-one. And the reason I like one-to-one is because I like to be different from everybody else that will say, right, come and do the course, and in a year's time you'll do all. And I'm thinking like, no, let's just do this. Just do the bits you need. Let me assess your speaking business from the commercial part of it, and let's just focus on the bits you need. And we can sort you out in 1, 2, maximum 3 sessions, right? Usually 1 or 2. I can sort them out, send them off, and they can be, making money, or making more money, or putting their fees up, or entering a new market. I don't believe in taking a long time. That might be because I'm getting older and I might not have the time in future. But also I'm impatient. I've always been impatient and impulsive, and I want results fast. And I think as entrepreneurs and business people, we need to see those results fast and have those initial wins to keep us going.
I love that. It's a sort of a implementation. Just be very real. What is not working? How to fix it? Move on. Next.
Yeah. Bit like an osteopath. You go in, sure. Crick, crack, crack, and you're off.
Yes, love that. Okay, so how does that process work? Like, what is the main thing usually that you talk about in those meetings and sort out for people?
There's 2 areas that are always a problem, right? One is positioning. Positioning it always needs a bit of a tweak, because what probably has happened is that nobody from a booker's lens, through a booker's eyes, has looked at the positioning. It'll be somebody who's looked at it who is not paying for a speaker, and they will have done a great job, but then the booker has I don't know what it is. You have this innate thing that I can show it to 5 bureau people and we'd all come up with the same thing that's wrong, and we don't know why, but we know it's wrong, and we know how to tweak it. So the positioning piece is always the first thing, and often assets are missing as well to make it easy, that ease of booking. And then the second part is, how do I find the gigs? How do I find the decision makers? What do I say to them? What process do I set up? So it's that actually getting paid process. So those are the 2 areas I really focus on and go deep on. If somebody's a bit newer, the 3rd session at the beginning would be understanding that paid speaking market, because it's weird, it's fragmented, it's all over the place, it's a bit of a mess. And if you haven't been in it before, you won't know it, you won't know the vocabulary, you won't know the language, you won't understand what industry we're even in, because there isn't a speaking industry as such.
Interesting. So when it comes to positioning, what is a good positioning? Can you give us an example of a good positioning?
I think, yes, I can give you lots, but I'll give you one of my favorites. It took him 7 years to get there. I didn't work with him on it, but I use him as an example because I think it's very clever. I think good positioning is where you are leading with the outcome. and potentially also saying this is what's going wrong, this is what the problem is, problem outcome, problem outcome. So David Averin does this very well. He says to people, he's a customer experience speaker, and he says that you're measuring customer experience wrong. It's not about satisfaction. It's about how hard it is. It's about effort. So his promise is he teaches people how to be ridiculously easy to do business with. I mean, what a promise. Ridiculously easy to do business with. That's his promise. Brilliant. Super easy. Customer experience speaker, making you ridiculously easy to do business with. Another one I love, Phil M. Jones. He has the book. I'm always giving out his book. In fact, I've got copies everywhere, which is Exactly What to Say. Have you got that one? You must have. You're smiling at me. You've got the book?
No.
So yes, he has got a book, but he didn't write it to start off with. And it's a very small book, so you could do a very small book. Exactly what to say.
So now it's an empty small book. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a promise. I'm going to teach you exactly what to say. Yeah. So
easy. It's something that I can relate to. I know. I want to know exactly what to say.
Yeah. So if he's selling to salespeople, I'll help you know exactly what to say to close the deal. If you're having a conflict situation, I'll teach you exactly what to say in conflict.
Yeah.
If you're, do you know what I mean? It just says genius.
Yes.
Wow.
Love that. Are you taking notes, Alex? I am.
I am fully engulfed in this. It was like, I started the positioning. Yeah, we started the positioning. Yeah.
Yeah. Could you? I'm just gonna ask another thing, because I think this is. You said people don't understand what the speakers market is, how it works. It's weird. Could you explain it in a simple way?
Okay, there is no speaking market, and there is no speaking industry. And now some people say there's no speaking circuit. That bureaus will disagree with that. That's a different subject. Let's not talk about that. The market that we are in, the paid market that we are in, is the market of business meetings and events, or business meetings and professional development events, if you like. That's the industry we're in, and that's worth one. Well, the last report I saw, and it's 2 or 3 years old now, so I need to get the latest one. It was worth $1.6 trillion. That's quite a lot of noughts.
Quite a lot, yes. It's hard to think about trillions.
So when somebody says they're speakers and they're not making any money, I say, well, what are you doing? Because they're not doing anything, right? Because there's so many events out there. There's so many business, so many opportunities absolutely everywhere. People just don't know how to see it. It's like, when you buy a yellow car, not that anybody ever would, let's be honest. Sorry, people who've got yellow cars. But if you buy a yellow car, you'll see a yellow car everywhere. Whereas before you never saw one. When I bought my Tesla, never saw it. Now everybody's got a Tesla, right? And then Elon, I mean, he ruined it for me. He really did. I still love my car.
I didn't see that one coming. Yeah,
no. Well, I think it's the emotion everyone in this part of the world at least has gone through when it comes to owning a Tesla. It's a very interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting. It's a fabulous car. Fabulous car. I love it.
Yes. Yeah,
sorry, now everybody has it.
It means something.
What is the See, I'm just soaking everything in. And I think that the majority of people who's listening to this, who have considered becoming a paid speaker, is just like, okay, what is going into, where do you see, like, if you can start like rubbing that little glass ball, and so where is the direction of public paid speakers? Just take away public. Where is the paid speaking marketing going? What is it that you're seeing? And I'm not looking for the buzzwords. I'm not looking for the trends. I want to hear Maria Franzoni's honest opinion. Like, where is this going? Because we had the pandemic. Things happened. We went into we threw poop into the fan. I'm trying to use less profanity here because that's apparently what Lucas is saying that I'm using. But now we have come back to reality, right? We have had the world is a little bit, not maybe back to normal, but where do you see this is going? What direction is the paid?
Okay, well, this has been happening for a while, and I've been talking about this since 2020, and in fact, and before. So it's nothing new, but more often than not, bureau people are ahead of the market anyway. But a lot of people are catching up. The problem we have now, and I'm going to use a term that Ravi Rajani uses. He's a storytelling speaker. He says that we're suffering from infobesity, and it's the best word ever. Think about it. Infobesity. We are fat on information, right? And in the past, people wanted information. We don't need information anymore. We can ask any of our AI friends for information. Information is everywhere, right?
Yep.
What we now need is those experts to say, well, what information is relevant to me? How should I be thinking about it? What should I be focusing on, right? And more importantly to the end client, what ROI is that going to deliver you once you're understanding that? But I mean, I've been saying this for quite a long time, but I'm getting better at saying it. And I didn't have infobesity before.
I love the word infobesity.
Isn't it the best? Isn't it the best word?
Infobesity.
Yeah.
Wow.
So essentially being very much more clear on the positioning. What is the outcome? What is the problem I'm solving? How do I make it super clear to the prospect or the venue or the event that this is exactly what these people need? Is that kind of the thinking that you need to have as a speaker today?
You need to make your topic the priority. Why is your topic more important than everybody wants AI? Why is your topic more important than AI? Why should they hire you to speak when they could get the AI guy? Because everybody wants AI, right?
Yep.
So you've got to really be clear as to why now? Why is this topic important now? And why is it important to you and your audience that you should book me? That's nothing new. This is nothing new. This is not, we're not recreating the wheel. This is simple business, right?
Yep.
None of this is new.
There you go.
I don't say anything that's new apart from Infobesity, which I stole from Ravi Rajani, borrowed from Ravi Rajani.
Yeah.
Borrow with pride.
Borrow with pride. Yeah.
I credited him.
That's it. And that's sufficient enough. That's enough. That's enough. All right. So before we start rounding this off, it's a marvelous talk to listen, a conversation to listen to you, and I would love to pick your brain for eons and eons. But of course, then you probably have to book me, or I have to book you as a client. No, I have to. Well, either way, I probably come into your rooster or and roster, not rooster. See, the intimidation you're creating, making my stumbles coming out this way.
Yeah. Basically, what you're trying to say, Alex, is yes, I will charge you for any more. Yes.
Exactly. Thank you. Appreciate that you're putting exactly what I wanted to say there. No, but before we round this off, I have two things. Number one, what is the major thing? I don't want to call it flaw. I don't want to call it failure. What is it that you see ongoing and within the more than 2 decades of career that you've been walking through the lines of looking at speakers? What is it that you see that they over and over again are doing not as well as they could?
On stage or in business?
Well, you know what? I know I would love to hear from the perspective of stage work, but I know that Lucas is very business. He would love the business aspect.
I think we probably covered the business aspect, haven't we? Because we talked
we did a little bit.
Yeah, we probably did. Let's talk about stage. I think 2 things they do wrong, I think, in my opinion. Too much content in a speech. And if you say to someone, deliver a 15-minute speech, they will often take 45 minutes and try to speak fast. What they'll do is they'll get the topic and then they'll search Google for anything else, and then they'll read all the other books on it, and then they'll add and they'll put everything in because they want to give value. And all you do is leave people with a headache. So that's one. And the second thing is structure. If you haven't got good structure, it's so hard to follow you and it's so hard to stay with you. So those are the 2 things I see that people who are inexperienced are bad at. Assessing the content that is that an audience member can cope with, and structuring it in a way that you take that person with you and don't lose them somewhere.
Wow.
Love that.
Second thing I had was, well, as you were a recommendation from someone else to invite you into the podcast, which we're really grateful that you did. Do you have anyone or any industry or anybody you want to hear on this podcast who's like, yeah, I want Alex and Lucas to pick their head a little bit?
Yeah, it has to be Mary Tilson-Wharton, who helped me create the Bookability Formula. So she helped me with the original 4 elements that then became 6 and became a mathematical algebraic formula for bookability. And she's brilliant at, and I'd love you to pick her brain on if she allows you. She may want to charge you. She is brilliant at scoping, and I think Speakers and bureaus and agents all should learn about scoping because they don't know how to really go deep with clients, so that a client is not going to look at anybody else when they inquire, because you're asking the best questions and having that best conversation. She closes every inquiry. She's amazing. So I would talk to Mary about scoping if she's willing to do that.
Yes.
Thank you for the advice. Thank you very much.
I would also
Much
want to have every conversation as a close. Yeah, no problems. We all should learn scoping. I'm curious, Maria, if possible, could you share for anyone that's listening to this podcast, in the beginning, they want to become out as a public speaker, paid speaker, and apart from trying to book you and have you nag, what is the second best option for them to do to get started as becoming a paid speaker?
Well, actually, even when they do pay me to nag them, when they're paying me to nag them, I send them a copy of my book. I would say start with the book because there's so much in there. There's at the end of every chapter, there's a to-do list because I can't help nagging. I nag even on paper. So just start doing the to-dos in the book, and you will actually have the foundation. Then when you're ready, we can start a lot further along the line, which is what I end up doing. Is I ask speakers to use it as their workbook, more or less, so that we can go faster. So I would start there.
Where can they find that book?
It's available on Amazon. I will share a link for you to put in the notes that is a universal link.
Perfect.
Yes.
But it's the Bookability Formula, what the 1% most booked speakers do, and you can too.
There you go. Very clear on the positioning. Approved.
Mic drop. Wow. Wow. So with that said, we scraped a little bit on the surface of your profession and helping people to be paid speakers into a market that was a trillion. I feel like I want to say like $1 trillion doing the Austin Powers one, Mr. Dr. Evil. But anyway, for the people that are like, you know what? I like her. I like that she's intimidating Alex in a good way. I also want to be intimidated by her, and I want her to nag. Where do they find you? What is the preference of following what you do? Where do people find you?
So I have a website, mariafranzoni.me, and I also am on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my preferred platform, and I'm Maria Franzoni on LinkedIn. So connect with me there, or contact me via the website, or download. There's a lot of free resources on the website, by the way. So those are quite useful as well. So if you don't want to pay for the book, grab the free resources.
Perfect. All right. Before I'm going to let Lucas finish this off, I just want to say true honor from the bottom of my heart. Has been such a great, I've been taking a bunch of notes, and I've been, my brain is going on 110 different aspects and angles. So again, thank you so much for joining in. And for everybody who's listening and watching, you need to follow Maria. If you have ever considered, you're like, you know what, I have an idea how to approach that and make money out of it. With that said, I'm going to leave over the word to Lucas and the finishing thoughts and remarks.
Oh, well, thank you, Alex. And yes, thank you, Maria. As Alex said, I've just been my head down, note taking, because it's been so wonderful. I am definitely ordering the book right after this episode. And I think everyone listening who is interested in becoming a paid speaker should do the same. Thank you so much. Thank you, Alex. Thank you for you who are listening. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. Makes the podcast grow, because as we grow, you grow, and the world becomes a slightly better place. Until next week, thank you and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.